everybody, it's 5 in the morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. pop-up book project again, and it is the 7th video tutorial on how to make your own pop-up book. Today we're going to cover an angle fold cube. It's going to be modified so it's a rectangle, but you can apply a lot of the same principles you learned from I think episode 3 where we made a box. This time we're going to shift it onto an angle, and but you can use a lot of the same principles. So, without further ado, this is the last video tutorial in this series. Let's get started. So this is my last page in my pop-up book, What a Mess, Pop-Up Misadventure. And the main muscle in this piece goes right here. It's going to be a bunk bed, and it is a modified angled cube. Because now it's a rectangle. But as you can see, here's our centerfold, and then we have a right angle right here, and that is where our bunk bed's going to go. So we need a box or rectangle that will fit this shape. Okay, which you can. So this is the piece we need. You could have the whole thing printed. Just one piece with the 4 folds and a tab to lock them. Mine is separated mainly because I have these extra attachments that are going to pull some other things when it opens. But also, this is pretty large, so when you're sheeting, you know, you can save some space by placing them close to each other like that. This might be harder to sheet. Okay, so let's build this before we even attach it. Like I talked about before, it's always best to attach something how it will collapse. So it should collapse this way, just like that. Okay, so I have 2 tabs. That will kind of glue in there. So let's start with one here. Just gonna glue that. It's always, everything's printed 2-sided. You always have to remember that with pop-ups, you see a lot of the opposite side. So once this is closed in, we're going to see a lot of the inside of it. So if you only print it on one side, you're going to have a lot of white. It might look kind of boring. So make it a point to always try to either flip your artwork or add some new artwork to make it interesting. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm going to place this. Make sure I place it nice and straight. Otherwise, that might give you some problems. Okay, there we go. It's placed. I'm going to place this side. Now, again, I want to build it the way it collapses. Just make sure that's nice and straight along that line. There we go. Okay, as you can see there, I have a very nice rectangle. It collapses very nicely. Collapse that way, collapse this way. That works out well. Right, so essentially it's going to go right there. Now, I'm going to add a top to this as well. So as you can see, here's the top of the bed. It's going to fit in there nicely. But notice this angle here. This is going to, when it folds, it's going to collapse in. But if I place it right here, you can see that this angle, this fold, is completely parallel with this fold. So So when this collapses this way, this is essentially going to fold in towards the center of the page. So if we were just doing a cube, we'd probably cut it there, and your cube would end about right there. We just extended it out, so our shape looks more like a bed. Now we have a bunk bed. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach this in. Might be a little tight at first. So you have a little cut here and a cut here. That's for additional attachments. We're going to put a ladder in here, and this is going to be our little arm that's going to push that piece up. Because remember we talked about if I just place this in, collapse it. If I just placed it in, when it opens, it kind of comes up, but it doesn't come up a lot. I really want that to push to the top. When that opens, I want it to come all the way up. But if it comes all the way up and we collapse it, it might not always pull down, which might give us some rip. So what we're going to do, we're going to attach this pillar right here, and he's going to pull it up. And he's going to hold it up because we have these locking tabs in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place him in now, loosely. I'm not going to glue him in yet. I'm going to place that in. Now he's locked in. We have a locking tab. So there's another locking tab and a pillar that's disguised as him just standing on top of the bed. So there we go. That's all set. Alright, now we're going to feed one side through. I have a cut here. Again, we talked about those cuts on one side to give it strength. It's perfect for placement, and it's very easy to glue down. So just feeding that through. Once that's in properly, which it is, I'll close this up. Okay, and I split this tab into two. Because it's long, I just wanted to give it some better hold. So I'm going to fold one side over this way. I'm going to fold the other side over the opposite way. This just holds it onto the paper well and kind of helps close up this long cut. To close up more, I'm just going to add some artist tape there. There we go. Now we're attached. Cool. So we want this side to land here. So I do have a nice placement guide for it. Placement guide's inset just in case I miss a little bit. If my angles are off just a tiny bit, or maybe I fold it in correctly. Okay, so over here, I'm just going to close this. There we go, landed very nicely. Pretty much right on my placement guide. And there. Now we have a nice box. A rectangle box. Okay, there we are. Alright, so now I talked about this isn't getting all the lift that I wanted to. So we're going to place him down. And just note that this pillar has been folded over on itself, so it's nice and rigid. So the paper's doubled up on him, so he stands nice and straight. There we go. Pretty nice. Now that comes up all the way, and when we close it, he pulls it down. So there you go. And now we have this nice piece in the middle that will help us build the additional pieces on the side. And this will do all the work for us. This is our muscle. All right, let's finish the job.